Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
You're now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show. I'm your host, Walil Archer on Downtown Hot Radio. I have a special guest, an author, and I can't get the name correct, so I would like for him to introduce himself.
My name is Jaime Reyes.
Jaime Reyes. Told you guys, I cannot get that first name right. My accent throws it off a lot of times.
You're forgiven. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate it. I truly understand. By my name being Walil, people call me everything but Walil sometimes.
I practiced it last night. Well,
Understood. So let's talk about your book. Let everybody know the title
okay.
of your book.
My new book is called The Lazarus Syndrome, Why Can't I Die? And it has to do with a medical condition. Uh, they've named it Lazarus syndrome after the biblical Lazarus because he was brought back to life by through miracles. But this situation is people are officially declared dead by medical professionals, but somehow they resuscitate in minutes, hours, or even days later. Some come back after they're put in a body bag and sent to the morgue. Some come back at the first incision of an autopsy. Unfortunately, some come back after they're buried. There's been quite a few of those. I wrote the book. It's nonfiction. It does happen quite often, more often than is reported. It is not reported every time because many medical personnel are afraid of getting sued for malpractice for trying to bury somebody before they're actually dead. Uh, so I read about this, and I had that experience myself several times. And I decided to do a little research. I wanted to find some case histories so I could uh, verify my own experiences. I can't just write about me coming back to life because people wouldn't believe it. I had to have numerous case histories to prove that it really is a medical condition, a medical situation. And I found quite a few. And uh, I found one that was exactly like mine. I was stillborn. Uh, I was declared dead at birth, and I was brought back to life with the ancient CPR and cigar smoke. Don't ask me how. I don't know how it worked, but it worked. And in my research, I found a famous person who experienced the same thing. He was stillborn also. His name is Pablo Picasso, the Spanish artist. He was born dead like I was, except 60 years earlier, and he was brought back to life the same way, uh, with ancient type of CPR and cigar smoke. And it worked for him. It worked for me. And I've had several situations. I won't go into details because they're in the book, but my most recent one was in 2017. I I made it to the hospital in time to tell the receptionist that I was having a problem with my heart. She handed me a paper, said, fill this out. She gave it to me, and I went down. I woke up 11 days later after a massive heart attack, and I flatlined twice. I was declared twice, dead twice, but I was brought back to the pads and regular CPR. And after a few years after we uh, going through that, I decided to write about it because I have done it quite a few times, and I've been hearing about current situations where it's happening. So I did a little research and I wrote the book, and I hope everybody enjoys it. There's some it's a little gory at times because some of them are really weird, but some of them are miraculous, are considered miraculous, and some people prefer to thank the heavens, divine intervention, than to thank the doctors. I prefer to thank the doctors for saving me. but that's a matter of opinion. Uh, and I also have another book called In the Beginning,
Before you
The
get to
Early
that
Days
book,
of Religious. Okay, go ahead.
before you get that book, let's finish this book. So you talk
Okay.
in this book about people actually being buried and coming back.
No, not. I didn't find any that were buried and came back after getting buried. They found out that revived when they exhumed the body for further exams, and they see scratches on the top of the coffin where they woke up after the buried and tried to get out. In fact, back in the 1900s, people of means would pay before in their will they would have it that they would they wanted a pole outside the grave with a rope attached to a bell going down to the coffin, and they would sorry about that. And, oh wow, I can't turn it off. Uh, anyway, sorry about that. They uh, if with the belief that if they woke up after they were buried, they would ring the bell and they could be rescued. That's where the term "saved by the bell" and "dead ringer" comes from. I couldn't find any that were saved by the bell, but people with means did that. Some other people would have in their will that if I'm declared dead, I want my heart removed before they want their heart removed to make sure they're dead. Some of them wanted to be bled completely and all the blood drained out. Um, Nobody wants. It's called taphophobia, the fear of being buried alive, and nobody would want to go through that experience. But some people prepare for it by doing some of those things I mentioned. Uh, but a good majority are brought back to life in a few minutes or even a few days later because they haven't. There's one case in my book where a young man was frozen alive and he was buried in snow for over 9 hours and he was frozen stiff. And when his father found him, the rescue units would not even attempt revival because he was frozen. He was dead, totally dead. But when they took him to the emergency room to have a doctor declare him dead, the doctor refused to do it because they don't like to declare frozen bodies dead. They have to wait till they thaw out. And what they did, they tried to expedite the thawing process. So they used something similar to uh, well, they exchanged it. They would take the blood out of one side, put it through a warmer, and put it back in on the other one. Well, they warmed the body up, and then they noticed that there was some brain activity when on the EEG. So they said, oh, so they tried many methods. They brought him back to life, and he's perfectly fine now. The only damage he suffered was uh, he lost uh, he lost his toes from frostbite and lost his two pinkies from frostbite. But otherwise, he's doing fine. His name is Justin Smith. He's in the book, and there's sources there where you can look up the story. There's YouTubes about it, and you can see there are about 8 different YouTube episodes about this young man, and it's a fascinating case. And he was dead for hours and hours, overnight, and he survived. So a few minutes is no big deal for me.
Now, how
Uh,
long did it take you to write this book?
Writing the book, I write fairly quick. It only took me a few weeks to write it, but then it takes me a few months to edit, to make sure the chronology is in order, to brighten it up, to make it, to fix it. Um, Writers spend more time editing than they do writing.
Right.
Yeah, and some even pay editors to do it. I do my own editing. It took me a couple months to edit it and make sure I had the sources correct and the pages were formatted and everything was right. Uh, so, but the writing itself, the first book I wrote in 3 weeks. This one took a little longer, uh, maybe a month and a half, because I had to do a little research. With the first book, it was all fiction, so I just made stuff up, uh, and I can make up stuff in in a matter of minutes. Uh, there's a lot of research in the first book too, but not as much as this one.
Yeah, that was my question for my next question. For the second book, how much research did you have to go into for this book, and where did you go for your research?
With the Lazarus syndrome, it was mostly uh, Google. You put Lazarus syndrome, and there's a score of situations, and then you pick the ones that are more unusual, the ones that are. I picked the ones that were closer to my situation. I only found one or two, but there were quite a few that were more exciting than others and more unbelievable than others. One woman, some people want to get buried within 24 hours for religious purposes. But this one woman was declared dead, and she was sent to the funeral home, and they put her in a casket, and they had to wait. She woke up during the wake. She
Oh.
started pounding on the coffin, and she was old, but she revived. And some of them are really, really unusual. It was fun to find other people that had done what I did, and some that done it in a more exciting way, in a more horrid way, maybe. Mine was all mostly in hospitals, and they could easily find a way to bring me back, and they didn't give up on me. But back in the day, in the old days, they just went by heart dead. So if your heart stopped beating, they would declare you dead. Today, you also have to be brain dead. There has to be no brain activity. So they hook you up to a EEG, and they determine that you're really dead. And so it's a little more difficult now, but still, it still fools some doctors. Some people still get declared dead prematurely. It's still happening.
So, what do you
So,
want the readers to take away from reading this book?
well, for one thing, they should, if they're afraid of this happening, then they should consult with their family and tell them about this effect and say, look, I want to make sure I'm dead before I'm buried, or whatever method he wants. Just because it would be horrendous to wake up after you're buried, or to wake up in a body bag in a morgue. Uh, Maybe suggest that they wait a day or so. Even that might not be enough, but and some people sign NDRs, DNRs, do not resuscitate. I would rather not do that because of my experience. I've come back too many times, and my family knows that I am a family legend because of that. So they know that in my case, they have to wait a while, a few days before, because my family's called in the last time because I was in a coma for 11 days. And they were brought in and said, when are they going to decide to pull the plug? And they told them, no, we have to wait. And he's done this before. So it it worked for me. So it's just people should know about these things. Also, if it does happen to you, and if you feel that the doctor screwed up, and you might have a lawsuit. I mean, look, people can use this. A little bit of knowledge, especially about something as important as dying, should be well documented. That you should know all the things that could happen to you. Hospitals are, in some cases, a place where people go to die. You can get sick and die in a hospital than you do at home. Uh, you can get more infections in a hospital than anywhere else. So you have to be careful about your hospital experience. I do go to hospitals, I do go to doctors, but with the knowledge that I got to be aware of what's happening. I want them to tell me the truth. I don't want them to sugarcoat. If they tell me I have a month to live, tell me I have a month to live. If I have terminal cancer, tell me I need to know. I'd rather know than be surprised. They want to keep it a secret. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Look, I've been there before. I've been there, done that, so it wouldn't bother me. So, and the thing I would definitely, absolutely, positively I go nuts if I would find myself in a coffin underground. I just can't imagine going through that experience, and I'd rather not.
And
No.
talk to us about your first book. What's the name of your first book?
The first book is called "In the Beginning: The Early Days of Religious Beliefs." It is not a religious book. There was no Bible. The book is based in 40,000 years ago at the time of when the Neanderthals came across the Cro-Magnon. And it's basically about before there was a Bible or Jesus or anything like that, people always believed uh, in spirits, or they didn't know what caused lightning or wind or storms, anything like that. So they attributed to spirits or gods. Every ancient civilization has had scores of gods. Norse mythology, Roman mythology, Greek mythology, they all attribute things to spirits. Well, I just made this up I went back to Neanderthal days and made the Neanderthal tribe, made one of the older members of the tribe come up with the idea of organizing his people's beliefs and declaring, look, I can speak to the spirits. Trust me, I will do rituals, I will talk to the spirits to stop the storms, to have better hunts, to make things better for us. And he convinced them, just like Jim Jones convinced his people. Uh, there are two things that are very, very coercive: religious beliefs and politics. People believe what they want to believe or what they're told or So uh, my character in the first book convinced his tribe that he spoke for the gods or the spirits, and uh, he gained power and he gained wealth as would be wealth in those days. There was no money, there was, more pelts and more food. He lived well, and he passed the information on to his family. It's on the book. He passed it all to his family, his children, his grandchildren, and they continue after he dies. They continue the religious uh, control of the tribes, and they spread. And it's all fiction, but I suggest that those beliefs developed and evolved into what religion is today. Somebody had to think of it. It didn't come up out of thin air. So I made it up in my book. I made it the beginning of religious beliefs and how they developed and how they evolved into the other religions. They were, they changed, they evolved in time. Um, and it was a fun book to write.
Now, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, this one, uh, uh, when I was in elementary school, there was a school newspaper called the Weekly Reader. They had a contest for children to write an essay or story, and they were printed for a contest. So I wrote one, and I based mine on comparing ancient religions to newer religions. I compared Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology to the religions of today: Christianity, Islam, and all the other ones, Hindu. And I wrote an article about that, and my conclusion was that uh, um, if those older religions died out, then why can't the new ones die out? Some people suggest that religions will change. They evolve in time. There's new ones come up all the time. So uh, I determined that the current religions will someday die out. I didn't win, but I got honorable mention, and uh, that was my beginning. That was my first published work when I was 12 years old, and that idea kept festering in my head for years and years and years. And then when I always wanted to write a book about it, and I kept expanding in my head, but all it was being written in my head, not on paper. When I had my heart attack in 2017, I said I better put this story down because otherwise it's gonna die with me. So it took me 3 weeks to write it. I had already had it all in my head, and 3 months to fix it, to adjust it. Um, and I love doing it, and it was a great experience. My first actual book. I had written a lot of articles for newspapers and public service announcements. I write about gun control, politics. I write about almost everything. But these are my two books, and I will I'm working on a third one, but that one is a long way off. I need a lot of research. Uh, and the first one is all historical fiction. This is more fiction than history, but it's a fun book to read
Got you.
and make you think of what you if you're believing the right things now. Because there's so many religions. I consider like uh, there's hundreds of religions, and how do you know which is the right one? Nobody knows. You just assume that yours is the right one. But I see it as when they're a bus station, get a bus. To get a bus, you're going to New York, but you get in the wrong bus and end up in Ohio. And then you go, oh, I got on the wrong bus. Suppose you spend your whole life believing uh, religion A, but then when you die, you go knock on the St. Peter's gate and say, no, 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 no. You're a Catholic, you should have been a Baptist, or vice versa. I don't know. I don't know which is the right one. So people believe. Uh, I have my beliefs. Uh, not I don't belong to any organized religion, but I have my own beliefs. I think something happens after you die, but I don't know what it is. But we'll all find out sooner or later. Um,
Now tell us, where can we purchase your books from?
they're available in Amazon and in Barnes and Noble, just about anywhere. Online. I'm trying to get them to be in bookstores, but that's a long process. Uh, so if they go to my website, I have links for the Amazon. My website is jreyesauthor.com. JREYES.com. And click on that. There's a description of the books. Books are available in Spanish and English, but I'm a bilingual writer. I
Okay.
translated both books myself. So there's 4 books there. Uh, you can uh, learn about the book. You can read a short synopsis. There's some reviews on the books. If you like them, then you can hit on get the book. And there's 4 books available. The 2 English versions and the 2 Spanish versions. And
Okay.
that's it in jreyesauthor.com.
Okay. Any final thoughts or closing remarks as we close out?
Well, no, I just wish everybody should read because it's a mini vacation and it doesn't cost anything except for buying a book. Even an ebook only costs a few dollars. And you can go on a mental vacation if you're feeling run down, if you're tired of politics or crime stories, and just sit back and read a book, and you'll see that you'll find some relief in reading. You get away from it all. This is can you see this? This is the
Yes.
Lazarus syndrome. You see the whole book,
Yes.
right? And then the other one uh, is in the beginning, and my name is Jaimereyes. So you got the name of the books, you have my name, look them up. They're available in other places, but mostly Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Uh, Very good.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for doing the interview today.
And I thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So that's my
Uh,
time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer on Downtown Hot Radio.
Very good. Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well.
Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Tune in by downloading the Downtown Hot Radio's mobile app. Listen on our website, www.downtownhotradio.com.